Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peace that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to a fantastic Film Friday. You heard me. That is absolutely correct. My guests today are going to be sharing with us an upcoming film and book signing event. So they're screening an amazing documentary and going to be signing books. You definitely want to tap in. I'm so excited because I got Melina Raebyne in the building. We're going to be talking about Meaningful Movies Project and how they're bringing their brilliance to this amazing event. And later on in the show, we got Rick Dupree. He is a producer, y'all, of this fantastic film. We're going to be talking all about it with the Seattle Black Panther Party and their freedom and justice film. So I'm really looking forward to diving in to all of those details with him. But of course, it is the top of the show, y'all. It's a perfect time to tag and share this stream, or however you're watching the show. Just share it with folks who you feel could benefit from this daily dose of dopeness right here on The Day with Trae that we work to bring you every weekday at 11 a.m. You know, if you can't watch us, we surely have you covered, y'all. So don't fret. You can also listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. You'll find us on whichever platform is your favorite. All right. Well, I'm excited because later on tonight, we have another The Day with Trae evening special, y'all, with Kaba Kamene. We've been talking about this throughout the week, and I'm so excited that it's airing tonight right here on Converge Media at 8 p.m. Y'all, Kaba was able to share some insight about what he finds as one of the saddest things in life that I think is really pertinent to some of the ways that he was sharing his journey with us in this evening special. Take a look.
And then I think that the saddest thing, one of the saddest things in life, is to get to be an elder and wish you had done something else. Yeah. That is, and our society is filled with that because of the nature of how we have to live our lives and how we get the most out of life. Because we think money is what it's all about. And it's not. When you get right down to it and you become an elder, you look back, you have all the money in the world. In fact, I've met some of the saddest people I've ever known in my life have had a whole bunch of money. Yeah. And some of the happiest people are the ones that know how to express their greatest desires and their joys and the things that bring them happiness, like family, fiesta, parties, and just enjoying life. Okay, work all week, but when Friday come, talk to the hand.
Well, I'm telling y'all, you don't want to miss this special. Brother Kaba brought his brilliance right here to the Black Media Matters studios while he was in the Pacific Northwest. So grateful that he was able to grace us with his presence here and that we were able to capture this phenomenal conversation I got to have with him. So make sure you tune in tonight, 8 p.m., right here on Converge Media for the Day with Trae, an evening special with Brother Kaba Kamene. Well, up next right now, I have the opportunity to talk once again with Melinda Raebyne. Hi.
Hey there, Trae. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good.
Well, it's good to see you again.
Same. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, when we talked about this, I said, look, as you do other events, let us know here on the Day with Trae. So it's great to have you back. Meaningful Movies Project. For those who didn't hear the first time I was able to connect with you, tell us a little bit more about what that is and what it does.
Yeah, so Meaningful Movies Project is now a little over 20 years. Grassroots started 20 years ago. People in community wanted to educate themselves, wanted to know like truth, right? The truth beyond what media was telling them. And they would get together, show documentary films, have discussions, and looking at topics from here to here, right? It's social justice topics, looking about race, inequalities, women's rights, history, looking at issues that go beyond the soil of the U.S. and really to educate themselves and open and having that safe space for open dialogue, which is very important. A lot of times when you're watching film that you are for the first time getting information that completely like is opposite from what you've been told, right? And looking also at environmental issues as well. And so, and they started one place, and now we have over 14 different locations, and we do also mentor a group of high school students, and that is virtual, so they can be anywhere and come together and pick films that really resonate with their community. So I don't dictate what films are to be seen or shown in the to their communities. They make the decisions because they know what's important to their communities, and it's always free. We never charge because it's important that anybody is able to attend no matter what their financial situation is.
Yeah, this is really important. And I remember getting so pumped up and inspired last time you were here because honestly, it's institutions and organizations like Meaningful Movies Project that allows for more and more to be explored when it comes to film. And oftentimes any filmmaker will tell you, you know, right, they want their film to resonate with the audience, right? There's so much intentionality that's put into filmmaking. And it's beautiful to hear that y'all are providing that space and also mentoring others along the journey. Because for me, I know there were so many people who poured into me as a young person that allows me to be here today. So I always find value in institutions and organizations that are not only doing great and meaningful work, but also bringing in the next generation. When you think about some of the ways that y'all have been able to partner with other institutions, production companies, organizations to bring events out to the public, tell us about how y'all have utilized your platform to establish these phenomenal partnerships that allow you to do these kinds of events.
Yeah, so been really fortunate. We've got, as you know, a very deep, rich film community here in the Northwest. And because of my connection as a filmmaker, I reached out to some of those organizations, such as Seattle International Film Festival. We did a screening that was 20 days in Mariupol that looked at what was happening in Ukraine when the Russians came, and it looked at the first 20 days in Mariupol and the devastation that happened. Seattle Latino Film Festival, we do partnerships with their festival when they're happening in October. We want to reach those communities that we may not necessarily have access to, and a great way to do that is through partnerships, and so that they know that we're out there and that we exist, but then also that our regulars know that Seattle Latino Film Festival is out there. So great opportunity that is just coming up and I'm really excited about is the partnership that we formed with Shoreline Community College. And they, you know, we had been talking and finally it's come to fruition. One of the things that was really important for, you know, we're going to show a film and we want to do, you know, I like to do things to incorporate other forms of art that enhances what the message of the film is about. So we bring in a spoken word artist. I believe you might know her, Sharon Irene Williams. She'll be there, and then we'll have a panel discussion as well afterwards, after the screening of the film, with the filmmaker, participants in the film, and also people in the college, because what the college wanted to do is to let people know that they have opportunities that are available to Black and brown individuals who may think that maybe college is not an option for them, but they want to talk to them about scholarships, opportunities, what kind of programs are available. And I said, yeah, well, let's do that. Let's have an event that celebrates an important part of history that happened in Seattle. And this also gives you an opportunity to reach the demographics that you may not necessarily you know, they may not have necessarily thought of, like Shoreline was, you know, a place for them. And then so we'll also do after the event, after the panel discussion and the screening and all that good stuff, we'll do kind of like a community gathering. We'll have some food trucks, people can talk and mingle and talk to these, you know, the filmmakers, the participants. There'll be a book signing for one of the individuals in the film, and also a reading from the book itself. So it should be a really powerful day at Shoreline, and and with the screening of this this film coming up.
Well, this event that you're talking about, I mean, this is a screening and a book signing happening at Shoreline College that is screening the film of the story of the Seattle Black Panther Party here. And, when you think about that event showcasing what y'all have been able to do historically with partnerships and other events that y'all have put on, the significance of this partnership with Shoreline seems pretty big, right? For Meaningful Movies Project, because it is important that, some of our educational institutions find roots in community.
Yeah.
And Meaningful Movies Project has been rooted in community for so many years that it's a great partnership. Glad to hear this because, we'll be talking to Rick later about more of the details of the event and the film that will be shown there. But I want folks to just be able to tap in with Meaningful Movies Project as well. Of course, look right there. Let them know how do they stay plugged into all of these phenomenal opportunities to dive deeper into the world of film.
Thank you, Trae. So appreciate you. Yes. So for anybody that's interested, whether it's just coming to a viewing and a screening, or we actually have virtual ones versus in person, we have both. Please check out meaningfulmovies.org, or if you're interested in volunteering, and or if you're a high school student and you want to be part of our internship program. There's so many great opportunities to get involved with Meaningful Movies. Thanks you.
Thanks for all the work you're doing. It's
Thank you.
important that we have institutions like Meaningful Movies Project to dive deeper and to have that space. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Trae. So appreciate you.
Y'all, we're going to be diving in more into these details about this upcoming event. We're going to be telling you how you get the tickets, when it's happening, all of the great things right after this short break. Because up next, we got Rick Dupree in the building. He is one of the amazing producers of this film that will be screened at this event. Y'all don't want to miss this amazing story. Stay tuned after this short break. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Spring Awakening, live on stage this June at the Fifth Avenue Theater. Winner of 8 Tony Awards, Spring Awakening weaves youth, love, and the clash between generations all in one powerful rock musical. Buy tickets now at fifthavenue.org.
The importance to share the history of the Buffalo Soldiers of Seattle and Buffalo Soldiers of everywhere, including cowboys and cowgirls of color everywhere, is really important because most likely they're forgotten. It's important that they're acknowledged, especially for girls like me who look up to them.
At a rodeo, it's got an impact on people when they see somebody doing something like that, especially a person of color, you know what I mean? It's got a big impact on people, I think.
Representing the Evergreen State, I am your Miss Teen Rodeo Washington, Jessa Thomas. Welcome to the Windswept Farm.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client, discussing their fields, and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. See you guys in a few.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is Rick Dupree. What's up, Rick?
Hey, how you doing? Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you. I mean, you have been a mover and a shaker in Seattle for a really long time, and I want to talk a bit about how you saw the need to now pour your brilliance into film to help share the stories of Seattle.
You know, there's so many great stories. I mean, you look at your backdrop and all of these great photos, that Al Smith, took over the years. There's so many great stories that need to be told, but we need to be telling them. And even though I'm a first-time filmmaker, this was a story. When you talk about the Black Panthers, and the Seattle Black Panthers in particular, it was a story that had to be told. It's part of our history. And it needs to be told by us, and more specifically, by the Panthers themselves. So that's what this is about.
Well, it's so phenomenal because I think a lot of people didn't understand the deep ties that the Seattle Black Panther Party had in community. And, they talk about it as this national organization, but it was so rich here. What are some of those things that you learned along this journey?
Yeah, it was back in probably May of 2020, and we invited Elmer Dixon, one of the co-founders, to be a speaker for our Black Student Union at Seattle Academy, where I work, and invited other private independent schools, BSUs. And it was about an hour, maybe a little more than an hour, on Zoom at the start of the pandemic. And Trae, when we were done, I called him. I said, "Yo, man, we need to do a documentary." And again, as you said, just what they meant in the community, what they did in the community. They brought so much pride. I mean, people saw them and they felt like, okay, I am somebody. I am worthy. I am, and in a time when we were being told that we weren't worthy, we weren't deserving, as Black people. And so, that shift, and Aaron Dixon, the older of the two brothers, talks about, there was this new term that the Panthers were going around talking about as Black power. And so, I mean, you look at James Brown coming out with, I'm Black and I'm proud, say it loud, so that was a time when young people were starting to develop this pride in knowing that, hey, I'm Black and I am beautiful. My hair is beautiful the way I want to wear it, whether it's an afro, whether it's braided, whatever the case may be. And so those are things coming out of hearing Elmer talk to these kids. And again, the Carolyn Downs Family Medical Center, is the only medical center created by the Black Panthers that is still in existence today in 2024. So things like that, Seattle, like you said, had played a prominent role and was one of the forefront, one of the leading chapters throughout the nation. And it's a story, again, that has not been told in full. Aaron has a book out. Elmer just released a book recently as well. But this story needs to be told because, again, I always tell people, Black history is American history. This is American history, and it's got to be told.
Well, I just love that you embarked on this journey because I think, my mother would always talk about the feeding program going as a young girl. Yeah. People that are from Seattle and have been here for many years experience that level of dedication and commitment that the Panther Party really brought to the Seattle Black community. And it's a beautiful thing because you still have in those two brothers, so much history that you were able to then share their stories through film that really helped to encapsulate, right? Like the actual story in a way that I think is going to really educate the masses on the importance of it. When you think about your own lineage and like what you want people to learn from this, you have a son, you have grandchildren, like what kind of things do you really want people to take away from this film?
It's interesting because starting out a lot of times as a filmmaker, I think as a storyteller, maybe you have something that you want to pull out. In this case, listening to Elmer and sharing about his journey and their journey, it was like, we've got to create a vehicle for their voices to be heard. With that said, now that we're almost 4 years into this project, a couple things have come to light. One is that these were young men and women, teenagers in most cases, and they were committed to fighting oppression. They were committed to making change in their community, and they were willing to give their lives for it. And I don't think most people understand what that's like to commit yourself to something bigger than self and say, I may not live. I mean, again, I'm 62, and I'm not sure I can do that. And these are teenagers, and they did that. So that's incredible. The other is that wanting people to hear from the mouths of the founders. You have Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, and others, for them to hear why the Black Panther Party was started. So those are two themes I hope come out loud and clear through the movie. One of the ways we want to do that is to really highlight the 10-point program so people can see this is what they were talking about. They're talking about decent housing. They're talking about food for people, decent, just basic things that we in our community weren't getting. Now they're known for the leathers and having the shotguns and what have you. And it started there because the police were brutalizing us in our own communities, and they were standing up saying, "No, you won't do that anymore." And imagine how terrifying is it for a white police officer in particular having 10 brothers and sisters lined up with shotguns sitting there watching, and they knew the law. They knew how far they had to stay away from them. They knew what they could do, and they were educated, and they weren't, as they were painted out, to be terrorists, extremists, and what have you. As Aaron said, we were revolutionaries.
Yeah. real revolutionaries, and it's so impactful for me because, of course, watching Judas and the Black Messiah, it's like, okay, here's this feature film that's kind of the first time that we're really seeing it on this big screen. And watching it with my sons was really intriguing because I was it came out at a time where I was doing a lot of activism. I still do. And I had to have these real serious conversations with my kids, right? And so when you talk about laying it on the line, I mean, the Panthers, I feel like everyone goes to, okay, who was really, like, they were ready to lose their lives. And unfortunately, many of them did because of this targeted approach to bring down this phenomenal organization that was empowering Black people and others who were low-income folks all over the country.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And Aaron talks about a revolutionary hates oppression, and not just oppress Black people, but all oppression, all people. So they were so much bigger than what the media and the propaganda painted them out to be. But yeah, it's, you look at the impact that they had, and they talk a lot about, hey, we had survival programs. They said we weren't a social service agency. We had survival programs pending revolution. So they were ready. They were ready to die for the cause. They were ready to die for the people to make change. And unfortunately, some of the things, I mean, they're almost 60 years. Of 1966, they were started in Oakland, 68 here in Seattle, and almost 60 years ago now. And we're still fighting many of the same battles. But you look at, I mean, they put the government to shame when they started the free breakfast program. All right. You look at, I mean, there was, in the medical field, there was no focus on sickle cell anemia and things that were affecting the Black community. And they started really, from looking at the high infant mortality rate and the deaths of mothers, Black mothers, in childbirthing. And they said, we've got to do something. And they did it. And as Elmer said, we were taught not to go to the government. We were taught to, okay, go in the community, find out what the problem is, and then create a solution. And that's what they did. I mean, they got stuff done,
It's beautiful because those same tactics, actually, there's so much that they laid out that works today. But this is inspiring because also as a filmmaker, you want to get your film seen, right? So that means you're partnering with other folks to get these screenings done. Tell us about this phenomenal event that's coming up this coming Sunday, partnering with Meaningful Movies Project, as Melinda was describing. Tell us how important it is that now, this film is going to be shown at Shoreline College. Yeah,
it is. So I want to make sure people understand it's a sampling of the film. We're still trying to finish it. It's an independent project. And so we'll have about a 30-minute sampling, and I think it'll give people a really good sense of what's to come. We still got a lot of work to do, but we're going to get this done. I mean, we've been saying coming in 2022, 23, but we hope by the end of the year. I mean, we're really grinding and trying to make sure we get it done. But this Sunday, doors open at 3:30 at the Shoreline Community College Theater, and it's a free event. People can come in and just enjoy. I mean, there's going to be a lot. So in addition to the screening of the film, we'll have a talk back. Elmer Dixon will be there. He'll have his book, Die Standing, so folks can get a copy of that and hear about that. There'll be some spoken word. There'll be food trucks. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we really hope that the community comes out and that they're really educated. Again, going back to the purpose, I think, behind the film, behind what Elmer's book, Aaron's book, it's really about educating the community. And for me as a Black man who was very young, I was 6 years old when, I was born in 62, so 6 years old when the chapter was started here. But the pride I get in hearing their story and knowing what they did, and I know because of them, my life is better, my kids, my grandkids, your life, they stood for something so much bigger than just self. And, hopefully Sunday will be a start where people can kind of get a sense of this. Again, like I said, we hope the film is done by the end of the year, and then we can get it out, whether it's streaming, whether it's, film festivals, whatever the case may be. But again, you want to come out on Sunday because this is going to be a good little sneak peek of what's to come.
Well, I want to tell you, as a documentary filmmaker, it's great actually to spend the time necessary to make sure the story is right? So I really appreciate that you are taking the time. You're not rushing the process. The story is layered, right? So I really love that you have the voices of those who were there on the grounds, helping to create this entire energy that was then coming from, you know, Cali and coming up here to the Pacific Northwest is huge. So thank you so much for seeing the need and filling the void. And of course, you know, if folks want to continue to stay tapped in as the film is completed or other screenings y'all may offer, look right there. Just let them know if there's other ways for them to continue to tap in.
Yeah. Well, one way, you can go to our website, Seattle Black Panthers with an S, doc.com. And we still are trying to raise funds to finish this film. We're about 75% of the way, but you can go on our website and you can get more information. We'll have information if we have screenings coming up, information on how you can give. There's a QR code there. Certainly welcome any support to get this thing done. We're going to get it done regardless, you know, but the more help we can get, the better. And again, we really, like I said, just want the story to be told. You said something earlier, and I want to comment real quickly, Judas and the Black Messiah. You talk about, you know, that movie that went out, and there was so much against them, and you had all these informants and what have you. And so unfortunately, a movement that was changing the narrative, changing what was going on in the community was cut short because they had so much opposition. And J. Edgar Hoover and the COINTEL program said, you know, this is the greatest threat to our internal security. And Elmer says, no, we were, but it was the greatest threat to the oppression. And so again, wanting people to know and understand this is American history. This is part of our history and a story that has to be told. And we're going to finish it. We're going to get it done.
Rick, I am so grateful that you stepped into this space to tell this story. I am 100% like understand the need for this story to be told, and like you, I wasn't even born and I got pride about, you know, Seattle making a mark on the map in terms of, you know, liberation for all folks who have been oppressed. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing and for partnering with Meaningful Movies Project and Shoreline Community College to bring this screening out for folks on Sunday. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.
Wow, y'all. I'm telling you, it is definitely a fantastic Film Friday. I'm going to wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Welcome back. It is the Hot Stove Show. Aaron Goldsmith.
Don't scratch the paint again.
Yeah, gotta get a better ride to work.
Mariners baseball, Trident's up.
Shotgun.
Not a chance.
Ballet's greatest comedy, Coppelia, returns to Pacific Northwest Ballet. Perfect for all ages, Coppelia delights with dazzling dancing and magnificent music played by the PNB Orchestra. Seven performances only. Visit pnb.org for tickets.
Africatown Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africatown Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africatown Plaza is a love letter to the community.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Of course, I got to give y'all a huge thank you for being with me this week, and a huge shout out to my guests today, Melinda and Rick, both of them partnering to bring this amazing screening for y'all. And it is a sampling of the film, as Rick shared, but it's still a great opportunity. You know, they're talking about spoken word and food trucks and a book signing and a talk back. I mean, they have really put so much into this effort on Sunday. Make sure y'all go there, Shoreline Community College Theater, 3:30, the doors open. It is free. Go ahead and get there on Sunday because you don't want to miss this phenomenal event. I'm also just so grateful because I get inspired all the time. Y'all know this. I'm so inspired by the work they're doing. I want you to be inspired. Rick said wasn't a filmmaker, but he saw a need and said, I need to step in and help fill this need by sharing this story and making sure it's told by us in a way that really resonates with the true history of what the Black Panthers did here for the Seattle chapter. You know, for so many of us who have grown up reading about the Panthers, this is an opportunity to understand the local story right here, what was going on. So make sure you go to the website. If you got the opportunity to give. Let's help push this film through the finish line. And if you just want to stay plugged in and connected because this story is going to resonate with you, please do so. Y'all, thanks so much again for joining me this week and for sharing this show however you see it. We appreciate you helping us grow here. Y'all know for me, I'm going to keep that inspiration alive for you on Monday at 11 a.m. And until then, y'all, peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.